Hello, my friends. Welcome back. And today we have Tiffany joining us to wrap up our monthly series, The Value-Add Blueprint, Turning Vision into Impact, where we have been diving into a book written by Peter Thiel, Zero to One. In this book, we have learned so much about how to create extraordinary businesses that are designed to be the best within their industry and sustainable. Hey, Tiff, how are you?
Hey Toya, I'm good. I'm a bit tired, but I'm
You
here.
here? Well, welcome back.
In the
Welcome back.
flesh. In the flesh.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I'm glad you were able to make it. And that's why I know you're busy. I know you are so, so busy. So I am very appreciative when you spend some time with me, some quality time with me, and do proactive is the way. Of course, we always love your insight and your contributions. So it's
Oh, well,
very
thank you.
valuable. Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
like doing it. That's why I was like, I commit to it because I do enjoy the dialogue and like just learning.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, good. Well, good, because this is here hopefully to stay. I don't know if you've been out to checking us out on Instagram, primarily Instagram. Facebook is picking up a little bit, but primarily Instagram.
You're on LinkedIn, you're on
I am. I have us everywhere. I have Proactive is the way everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. But Instagram is where it really picked up a great deal. So, and it's starting to pick up again. So I'm really excited that people are finding value in, the resources that we're providing, commentary, etc.
I
Uh,
like the I like that you had blue eyes in a picture this week.
did you see that? Oh, thank you.
What
Thank
did you do
you.
with that? How'd you do that?
You like that? Girl, one day, and I actually had
It's actually a
already,
good idea because
I
it
had
makes you
actually already posted it. I had posted it on my, just my what do you call it? Facebook account.
uh-huh.
Because one day I was sitting down and we were doing something with Snapchat. And
Oh,
I was like, oh my God, speaking of. So Snapchat, Snapchat has all those different filters.
uh-huh.
And one of them, I don't know what it was, but it changed my eyes blue. And I was like, I
Who
had to
would
give
have
me
known
some
I would look good with
context.
blue eyes? Do you remember our little cousin in Georgia that has blue eyes naturally? Do you remember when we went to a family reunion and his eyes were crystal blue and he had like a white patch through his eyebrow and it was his birthmark?
I don't recall. But Daddy though, Daddy's eyes, if you've ever noticed
Kind of
his eyes,
bluish,
they're
greenish.
blue green. Yes. So I was like, dang, we probably have a trait somewhere deep, 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 deep
Yeah,
down
it's called
inside.
cholesterol.
Oh, it was not. Daddy is not. No, he has always had those blue green eyes. I mean, since we were kids. What do you mean? So you think he's had issues with cholesterol since we were kids?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think
He
so.
drank
I think
alcohol.
those are, well, true, true. That was true. I don't think he drinks now, though.
No, huh?
No, yeah, he said he doesn't drink anymore, which is good. I was like, ooh, thank you. Get it out your system.
Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, so what are you getting into this weekend? Are you
Well, I'm
and how long are you here for? How long are you here for? I got to
till
ask that question.
tomorrow.
Just till tomorrow? Oh, good Lord.
I'm working on Skid Row. So,
Oh,
so I thought I had this grand idea. Just go back to California and work, build your capital. You'll
right,
have no problem because you can build it quicker out there because I make way more out there than here. But
right.
um so that idea was not a good idea because of like what's going on with the government, and then like traveling back and forth like that. It's not
Okay.
work. The time
Okay.
zones, I just don't
Too
have
complicated.
more. I thought I would be able to um go back and forth, no problem. Mm-mm.
Hmm. No, not happening.
Even with the government shutdown and all the stuff going on with our government and causing,
Hmm.
uncertainty, it wasn't gonna work because I'm too tired.
Right,
Too
right.
tired.
Well, good. Well, then that means you're going to come back this way.
Right.
Okay. Because that's what makes the
We're
most sense.
recording.
Somebody in the background, like, yes, because that just does not make any sense. Yeah, so that makes the best sense. So good, good. Well, we definitely would love to have you back. I
Well, I'm
was
not
kind of
really
shocked.
gone. I'm
I
not really.
know you're not gone, but I was kind of shocked. I was like, she going out there to work? I didn't even know you was going out there to work. I was like, okay. I didn't
I
know it
gotta
had
build
happened so
capital. I can't do this. This ain't for the week. I can't do this without a certain amount of money because I have
right,
the properties to maintain.
right.
I have a lot of different stuff I'm maintaining. You can't maintain that with no money.
This is true. This is very, very true. And
It's not
it's good.
sustainable.
Some people will try and struggle through it and get in
No,
a
no.
substantial amount of
Now
debt behind
alone,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very lengthy talk about this with Daddy, because I mean, it still provides good insight. Uh,
Right. Of course.
and I told him that I needed to come back out here and build, go back to Cali, build capital. That I don't want to go into high ass debt, trying to make my dream come true. That don't make sense to
I
me.
agree. That's so funny you said, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on because I just thought to myself, we have to be cognizant about where we are within our life
Yeah.
and who's going to be impacted by the choices that we make within our life. Now for you, right, you're lucky. It's just you, right? But still, even within that, you don't want to find yourself out on the street because you were trying to, you
Okay.
know,
Because I
hustle.
work with the homeless and I be wondering, how did y'all even get here? Oh, that
Right.
might be how.
Re- no, seriously. And you know what's funny that you just said
Taking
that?
on too
There
much.
was, I think I told you about this. There was a guy on Facebook and he was asking another guy who was in Popeye's Chicken, how did he become homeless? And the guy said, this is what he said. He said, I spent my life giving everyone else the shirt off my back. Then, when it came time for me and I was in need of help, there was nobody there.
Zero. I'm thankful
Zero.
for the family that I have, for the friends that I have that have
Mm-hmm.
donated, giving me money, to try to
Mm-hmm.
get this off.
Right.
I don't want to do that either. You know,
Right.
even if you
Yeah.
have that access, no, and that's scary because it can go from 100 to zero.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry. Very, very true. And the guy said, he said, what I learned within this experience, while the guy, he's asking for money to be able to buy some chicken, is I should have built my own house first.
Of
I should have made sure that I was well taken care of before but his sounded like he just helped too much and didn't know he had set no true boundaries.
Oh,
But you can find that particular, like in your case, even with your business, and you want to definitely invest in and go all in, but at the
right.
same time, you want to be mindful of the impact, the negative impact that could occur in the event that things go awry. And do you have a contingency plan
And this is my
established?
contingency plan is to just
Yes.
fold.
Mm-hmm. Was to what?
It's to just fold. Like my contingency plan would be to just rent out the top to other providers that, don't have to have that administrative oversight that I need.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
especially like with the billing and that sort of thing. Because if you're independent and you're not like trying to run a practice like these psychiatric mental health nurse practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
they could just operate just solely from, if they're independent, they could be independent bill for just themselves and that's it. And they're just
Okay.
it's just one thing for them, right? Psychiatry. It's not
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing. Like I got to collaborate. I have to have referrals. I have to send people out, Um,
Right.
so it's really it's just cumbersome and I
Mm-hmm.
like the challenge. Don't get me wrong. I love
Mm-hmm.
being challenged.
Right.
I can't my finances cannot be challenged. That mm-mm,
You sound like me. I'm like,
mm-mm. I don't like
I
that. I don't like borrow money from people. I don't
mm-hmm.
like borrow money from the bank. If I have cash,
True.
I go out of my way to and you know what's crazy? I never even reached out for a loan thing, but as soon as one of my accounts hit the negative,
Mm-hmm.
I got floods of when I tell you like here you want to borrow 500,000, it's only I got big loans, like big
Wow. Offers
documents
for
are already completed. All you have to do is just sign your name on the dotted line and all this.
wow.
I should show
That's
you.
kind of scary. That's kind of scary. It's like
Well,
when you
what's
down.
scary is you how do y'all know my account is low?
Oh, girl, ain't nothing sacred. Didn't I tell y'all? After 9/11, girl, there is not a thing. That's why I told Mom, I was like, why you always be trying to hide stuff? I'm about to let you know right now. They know everything. So stop.
Everything.
Okay. I said live in the light. Go ahead and live in the light. Because after 9/11, we just gave everybody free for all, the government free for all to do what they want to do.
Hmm.
They're doing it to, of course, protect the people, but there is nothing sacred. I'm sorry, there is nothing sacred. So do I agree? Am I condoning? Absolutely not. But I understand. I get why nothing is sacred. I guess they don't want to be in that position again, right? Not knowing. Anyways, but yeah, nothing sacred. That's why they know that's why they know your balance. That's why they know you tiptoeing on zero.
Right.
And then gonna give you 500,000 so you can tiptoe on zero uh and below. These people be doing the most, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. But hopefully that's not the case. If you ever do have to take a loan, which, loans are not bad if you use them right, and there's
Loans are not right, but
you have to, you,
people
but you,
like to borrow
exactly.
over
If
borrow.
over borrow, exactly. You have to use them correctly, right? It's just a temporary and to be paid off at the end of every month, right? Um, so it's just a temporary assistance, but we haven't I don't think we were taught well how to leverage debt effectively, right? So, but yeah, so this is a great segue into our topic today. I definitely want to get into how do we be thoughtful about when we're talking about our own companies and building our own empires, if you will, the things that we need to consider. And so, as everyone knows, we've been reading Zero to One. This particular book we shared earlier, just it really provided so many pearls of wisdom. Every time I found a gem, I don't know if you paid attention. Like when I would be asking you questions, you probably was like, "Why she asking me questions about my business? I'm not even there." But I felt compelled, to reach out to you to inquire, if you had given some thought as relates to this, or like for
Oh, and I
example,
never responded to that one about
I know
being and you know what? I was like, gosh, that's a good idea. Maybe if I did that and they know I have my own practice, they'll just send their patients there.
bingo, Bingo.
but I don't know how that works. I'd have to look into it.
Yeah, so but I'm telling you, I was reading it and all I kept thinking about, I kept getting ideas for you. And have you given this some thought? You probably want to consider this. And so this book was just really, it really got my mind churning. Even for my own business, because I sell a product. And we'll talk about that. Some of the chapters, we already did chapters 1 through 7. We already talked about chapters 1 through 7, but the remaining chapters, there were a few chapters that really just spoke to me. And it was chapter 8 as it related to secrets, 9, building the right foundation before you establish your business or while you're establishing your business. And then 11 was the importance of sales. And so I'm going to talk to you about that because, and I don't know if you think about within your space, because it is service oriented,
Uh-huh.
that you really are going to have to be your own salesperson. So,
Correct.
and really get out and pound the pavement and let folks know who you are, what you do, etc.
Right.
And even for me, I sell a product, right? I sell services and products, and we really we're the face of our business as a Lone Ranger. And so he goes into depth of regarding the importance of that. And I really appreciated the level of insight, the valuable insight that he provided there. So we'll kick things off with chapter 8. He discussed in this, and I brought this up, I think, in my meditative Monday, I want to say, where he talks about how in our day and age, when we're talking about building a company, when we're talking about building a company that is going to be extraordinary, offer great value, and be sustainable, we have to start thinking about what type of businesses can we create. And one of the things in his book he talked about was that, it's good to create like businesses that are alike.
Mhm.
But what's truly extraordinary is if we can think of a business that is truly differentiated, that adds value. And he said the way that we can begin to do that is by trying to find the secrets that still exist within nature, within people, and developing a business product, developing something that is extraordinary. And I thought about that because I thought to myself, do I even think like that? When I even started my own business, Kinky Cafe, it wasn't really for anybody. Honestly, it was for myself. And I didn't get into it to say, oh, I have this amazing product. It was just something that I discovered trying to
Mhm.
treat my children's eczema. That, oh my goodness, these body creams are absolutely amazing. And if we make natural creams, they're absolutely amazing, right? But he was sharing, that we to build something extraordinary, we have to think extraordinary and get out of being complacent,
Mhm.
um, get out of being risk adverse, to the point that we no longer dare to explore. And most of it's due to the fact that we're scared, right? You're scared to
Mhm.
fail, or that because we live in a global society, someone else will figure it out. Someone else more talented, someone else who has more resources will figure it out before I can. And
Mhm.
so we will stop. We won't continue the exploration.
That part is
And
true.
Yes, and when he said that, I was like, that is actually really true. I've done that on a number of occasions. And as a matter of fact, I just had an idea and I was like, someone with better resources will be able to do this. And I actually have found someone and I just plugged it in his ear because I was like, oh, I really wanted to develop this. And he already had, I heard him say he had like tools and resources, just he was talking about a different project. But I was like, oh, he would be better equipped for this. So I gave it to him. I gave the idea to him. And I thought to myself, gosh, probably should have kept that. Because
Why?
if I
Because did
see
he
if I see him
capitalize
on
on it?
Shark Tank, say that again.
I say, because did he capitalize on it? Because if
Well, I think it'll probably take a little bit of time to develop, but I hope he does because I just felt like I wasn't in the right space. I'm still trying to develop my technical skills. I said, but in this world of technology, I see so many areas of development and improvement. And I just don't have the knowledge, right? So I'm developing my knowledge, but I just don't have it yet.
But
And
how
I
come, what
realize that.
stops you from building while you grow?
I thought to myself because I did get his number. I was like, oh, let me get your number. And I got his email. But then at the end of the day, I was like, I'm doing too much over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to overextend yourself either. But I
Hmm.
felt like it was something that was really important, really would be valuable. And I can see his desire to develop a solution in the same area. So I was like, I'll get that to you, um, and see what you could do with it because we need help, right? Because it's going to take me a little time to develop that. But I have other ideas. That's not the only one that's generating in my mind. So I truly believe that over time, and as I mentioned, I'm going through this whole transition, career transition, that more will come. So I'm but yeah, so going back to what Peter shared, the fact that in my case, I won't say that I'm complacent, but I guess risk averse was one of them. I was like, I'm not willing to take that risk right now, but I think it's very valuable. It's very important. So I'm going to give this to someone else. But he was sharing that early in our lives, from very early on, we're taught to follow rules, take small steps, stay within the lines, and we're oftentimes rewarded for mastering what's already known and not venturing into the unknown.
Hmm.
And of course, over time, that comfort and predictability becomes a quiet form of limitation. What are your thoughts on?
It becomes something called the woke movement
Oh, okay. Okay. Explain that a little bit more.
because we were taught to color within the lines, right? Is what I heard
Mm-hmm.
you say. Yeah. So we're taught to color within the lines, and for those people who colored outside of the lines, they're woke,
Mm.
meaning they have
Now they're woke.
yeah, well, no, even the ones who did it when they were being told to color within the lines, and they
Mm-hmm.
still chose to color outside of the lines.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
so they were not risk adverse. They didn't, or woke people, the woke movement, it doesn't worry about risk.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Correct.
let's put it this way too. We're succeeding and failing all day long, so we should never be worried about failing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we do it all day. Look, for example, start your day. Got
Mm-hmm.
up, brush my teeth. Success. I
Mm-hmm.
brushed my teeth. There's
Right.
a lot of people that don't brush their teeth,
Mm-hmm.
brush their tongue or anything.
Uh-huh.
Got my clothes on, got ready for work, out the door at 7:45 because I got to be to work at 8 o'clock. Success.
Right.
Okay. But then you get into failures, right? So during
Mm-hmm.
the day, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
see, I didn't see my patients timely enough. Fail.
Right.
I don't get to go to
Right.
lunch.
Right.
Right. I'm working through lunch. That's fail.
Mm-hmm.
And it also is about perception too. So, but let me go back to your point because I'm so tangential. You
Mm-hmm.
you stated that you stated that, and I said it's actually the woke movement. So it's those people um, who are daring to be bold, daring to accept risk, but not irresponsible risk, you know, because that I think
Mm-hmm.
that is what causes the fear is the irresponsible risk takers or people who are doing anything. And we kind of just touched on it a little bit when I was saying about over borrowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're starting a business,
Right.
you got a loan here, you got a loan here, get involved from everybody in the community, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
and you trying to figure out, you got this long list of people. And to me, that's just like, you fail to prepare to fail
Right.
type concept. So I can feel that, but I think that we should color outside of the lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's progressiveness, actually, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at
Yes.
Elon Musk.
I was just about to say
I
him.
always use
Elon,
he
but
don't have a flying car yet because he can't he probably, you know, because they're real resistant against his intellect because he's autistic, so he has a different advantage, right? Like he's neurodivergent. He thinks way different than, you know, that
mm-hmm.
person. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we were taught to color within the lines was because of what? Control.
Of
And so
course.
now, because people are coloring outside the lines all the time, and that's the standard, now
Mm-hmm.
everything it has created and not destruction, but
Obedient. Well, an obedient population that the blind leading the blind culture is what I call it. You know, where just people are just blindly following with no critical thought process. And if you ever think about anything that's been created or established that has been completely extraordinaire, it has been those great discoveries, if you will. It has always been with those who were willing to take that chance, color outside the line, question what everyone has accepted as a fact, right? And so when we decided to do that, you start to see this lack of progression
mhm,
occurring within our society.
mhm,
I just keep thinking, and I think we talked about this before, I think I brought up George Jetson's, the Jetsons when we were kids. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh my God, like when we were kids, back in whenever those cartoons were created and things of that nature were created, like we had this gift. Or what about the era when all of the technologies were created, like the TV, the telephone, all of this? You know, it's interesting to me because I wonder, why did we slow everything down? Why did we hinder people's creativity in a
mhm,
way? Why? And I guess it's probably due to manufacturing. Because if you think about our school system and how our school system is designed, and even within religion, everything is designed for us to be obedient, for
mhm.
us to follow a structured pattern,
The same to assimilate.
yet to
Um,
assimilate.
but Toya,
Mhm,
so like if you look at it too, like our school system,
mhm,
uh, like when they started taking things away from, we should have been paying more attention when they started taking stuff out of school.
mm.
Uh-huh.
Such as
Um, wood shop,
true story,
sewing. We should have been paying attention when that became not relevant
art,
anymore. When it's art,
music.
music, when they started to, you don't see kids carrying the instruments, getting on
That's a
on the
good,
bus, the bulky instrument. But
very, very true. Because we grew up
it's
in that era. I grew up
right.
with woodworking because I used to make I used to make things and bring them home, candlelights, boxes,
Right,
treasure
exactly.
chests,
Like
and
we were
we
taught.
learned how to cook, right? We had
I
home
remember.
economics. They
Mm-hmm.
got rid of that
Oh my,
too.
yeah.
Where we
So
probably would have learned about finances as well. We was talking about that, what, a couple weeks
right, and
ago.
that's what I'm
Like,
telling you. They took this, so we should have been paying more attention, not us, because we were the kids going through it, but the
mhm,
adults should have been like
oh
because
no.
this woke movement is not anything new. It's just progressively gotten stronger.
Hmm.
Like people are resistant to, the lies and the fabrications, it's just a lot that is being uncovered, but
Hmm.
they were uncovering it slowly. Then now it's a little bit more rapid because we got the social media.
Mm.
But yeah, that's when we should have been paying attention, because the engineering and the finances, it would be interesting to see how many engineers we don't have. Well, you can tell from our infrastructure. We've
Well,
got this poor engineering going on. You
no,
can
I
drive
was.
down Main Street, and you don't drive. You don't drive a lot, but you could drive down Main Street and see they ain't putting out no extraordinary engineers anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Right.
got bump outs in refugee islands in the
Hmm.
middle of a street that don't have enough width for cars not to ruin their vehicles. You're still bumping up against the curb going down here by Santa Clara in Main Street where that was supposed to be fixed. Seemed like they made the curb bigger.
Oh.
So you could tell we're not putting out the talent,
Quality,
right? The
quality talent.
quality nor the talent.
Hmm.
We've also we should have recognized, or they should have recognized, not only when they started taking things out of school. Oh, and think
What's that?
writing. How
Oh,
about
true.
balance a checkbook?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if you take these things away, or if you hide these things, and we had to go look for them, but you had already told us we got to color in the lines, we ain't going to look for
No,
that
you're not
stuff.
going to look for
We're
it.
not doing
Exactly.
it.
And that's what he was sharing. He was like, what has happened is we have done that, right? And you're
Uh-huh.
right. It actually did start when we were in school and they started taking away all of those what what they classified as not core competencies. But I was like, sometimes those non-core classes is what helped us to be more,
It
how do I say
shaped us,
it,
molded us, groomed
exactly,
us to be creative. To
creatives.
yeah, like I don't
Mhm.
know if you remember those programs we were just in school, like Odyssey of the Mind, and then there was one other one.
Yes.
Because it was promoting, and then it was put on by the colleges. Do you remember that?
Hmm.
We
Yeah,
used to go down to
I did.
St.
I was
Clair.
a coach. I was a coach for Odyssey of the Mind.
And then what was the other one? It was like there was a one that started with an L or S. I'll think of it later.
Okay.
But yeah, like things like that. It's just like, okay, wait, this was actually grooming us, into I ain't gotta be autistic to think of things.
Hmm.
Like we could have been the next Elon Musk or
True.
Gates or who
It's
was the
kind
guy?
of funny you said that. Do you think that autism was created then?
I don't know what's going on with this autism thing. Let me just put this out here. Tylenol didn't cause autism.
Okay.
We have a total buffoon in office. And so as a result, buffoon begats buffoonery, right? So does it not? Buffoonery begats buffoonery. But
Oh, of
anyway,
course.
so
Mhm.
right. So then you have the chief buffoon, and then now you have somebody over Health and Human Services going on and on about Tylenol and autism.
Mhm.
Ain't no
I hear you, girl.
way. You said you can't hear me.
I hear you. It's like if you didn't want me to hear you, I didn't hear you.
I didn't want Big Brother to hear me. But
Oh, he heard you. No,
come in
he
here, come in
heard
here,
you. I
come in here,
couldn't
come in
hear
here,
you.
come in here, come in here closer.
What you say?
The chemicals in the food that they are growing is causing the autism.
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah. I can believe that. I can definitely believe that.
No, but for
But
real,
okay.
when people do, but for real, when people are creative, when they're woke, when they're a part of a when they're part of that whole movement now,
Mhm.
you see the blackouts or the whiteouts. Like they don't want you to have that information. Why do you think they started developing the algorithms? Because
Mm,
people that tap into and they're like it's gonna send off brain waves, it's gonna send off signals in their mind like, oh, this is not right or something like that. They want to keep it quiet.
mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Has
And
your algorithm changed on your social media? Have you noticed anything different? I have.
you don't even want to look at my algorithm. I don't know who created my algorithm. I was like, who created this? Like I was just telling you, I was like, I don't even be looking up for tummy tucks. Why the heck does this come across my screen? I know I got a belly. Okay, I like my belly. But anyways, I was like, I said, but I guess maybe because I look up working out and different abdominal, and it's probably like, girl, you've been looking up working out on your abdomen for 6 years now. It's time to get a tummy tuck. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. It's been 6 years. This has been on your algorithm. But anyway, it's
Yeah.
time for a tummy tuck. Yeah, it's not happening. I was
Skin,
like,
skin
please.
removal.
Huh?
Skin removal, probably
Uh,
not like what they got to do a tummy to remove.
Well, whatever. It ain't happening over here. I was like, whoever I like, okay. I didn't already had the milk, the cookies, the whole damn cow for free. I don't need a damn tummy tuck. For who? No. Can you please just give me my ab exercises that I asked for?
Mhm.
Um, what was the other thing? I just wanted to, before I jump into the next chapter, I wanted to close on this with regards to, and we got into it, but then we kind of had a few sidebars. But when we're talking about, the secrets, he said, you can't find secrets without looking for them. I think that is I think that is so poignant. That's an amazing point. If we really want to develop things that are extraordinary, well, God dang it,
Mhm.
we got to look for it, right? And one other thing he said, a world without secrets would enjoy a perfect understanding of justice. I love that. A world without secrets would enjoy a perfect understanding of justice. Every injustice necessarily involves a moral truth that very few people recognize early on. In a democratic society, a wrongful practice persists only when most people don't perceive it to be unjust. So, when did that occur?
Back before the movement, for the civil rights movement.
Civil right, right. When we had slavery, right? Everyone thought that was okay, right? Slavery was the thing to do, and until it wasn't, right? And so these are things that we had. Do we live in a just world? Heck no. Well, then we have way more secrets to find, to uncover, right? In order to make our world more just. And so I really like that. And then he shared, there are two kinds of secrets, secrets of nature and secrets about people. Natural secrets exist all around us, he says. To find them, one must study some undiscovered aspects of the physical world. Secrets about people, though, they're different. They are things that people don't know about themselves or things they hide because they don't want others to know. So, when thinking about what kind of company to build, there are two distinct questions to ask. What secrets is nature not telling you? And what secrets are people not telling you? And there you may find your extraordinary business, right?
Mm.
So I want to jump into chapter 9. Um, I really like this because I think this would help as you begin to build your business. He said, and even if I decide I want to expand my business, he said a startup
Oh,
messed up at its foundation cannot be fixed,
right.
right? And he said companies are like countries in this way. Bad decisions made early on, if you choose the wrong partners or hire the wrong people, for example, are
Hmm.
very hard to correct after they are made.
Correct.
It may take a crisis on the order of bankruptcy before anybody will even try to correct it. As a founder, your first job is to get the first things right because you cannot build a great company on a flawed foundation, right? I like that. I like that a
Mhm.
lot. And he said individual minds is divided against itself, but in business at least, working for yourself guarantees alignment. Unfortunately, it also limits what kind of company you can build. It's very hard to go from 0 to 1 without a team. And so you were saying, I remember when I was like, okay, Tiffany, who you hiring, and who's going to be helping you, etc. And you was like, well, when I start off, I have my team, but they ain't going to be helping me just yet, right? I'm going to focus on doing this myself first, right? And I think, there's value in that. I was kind of shocked, though, I would tell you, because I was like, in the medical field, you don't try and do it by yourself? And I guess you could do it. I mean, there's many people who are out here who manage
You
their
have
own
massage
practice.
therapists, you have
Yes,
nail
exact. That's
techs. I
that's
mean,
where I had to take myself. I had to step back and say, okay, what other type of businesses do this solo, that are within that space? And yes, so like you said, massage therapists. But as you grow, right,
I need a team.
especially if you want to be extraordinaire, you are going to have to develop a team. And we already talked about a couple weeks ago the importance of developing a team and ensuring that that team is aligned with your objectives and making sure that at the end of the day you have the final say as the owner
Mm-hmm.
and how to ensure that your team respects you. So if you all didn't have a chance, definitely check out our last podcast where we talked about how to build a team that is designed to be a contribution and not a saboteur.
Okay. Is that the
Hello,
right word for that? Is that a new word to learn? A saboteur,
saboteur.
because
Absolutely.
I have had those around me. I want to make sure I watch all the red flags this go around.
Right, right. Seriously. Did you have anything with regards to that as it related to, the foundation? I just thought that was a really helpful chapter, especially when you're starting to, build your business. You want to be able to just make sure that there's no misalignments within the company,
Hmm.
and understand, he talked about three sources of misalignment, and that we have to have a really strong understanding of these three concepts: ownership, possession, and control. Ownership: who legally owns a company's equity? Possession: who actually runs the company on a day to day basis? So, who's your operations and who manages your operations? And then control: who formally governs the company affairs, right?
Right.
So if you decide if you want to get a board, he even went into depth like don't try and go above three
Right.
until you get to a certain point within your company. Don't go above three. Three is ideal. I was like, yeah, you right about that. That is so right. Any thoughts with regards to that? Building the right foundation.
So just looking back at the past, that actually is what started an argument because I said I have to have the right team. I have to have the right circle around me. And the person took it to mean that they weren't
Part of that circle.
a part of the circle. Uh-huh. I don't know how they inserted themselves, but that actually, I was just thinking to myself, like, well, damn, that actually is what I was trying to construct, like before I opened, I was trying to get, like a solid team,
Mhm.
that I could just call and, be like, because I'm building as I grow.
Right.
And yeah, that actually was the statement that I made, that I wasn't making it distastefully. I was just like, I really gotta think about my team, who I align myself with. Because you
Mhm.
can align yourself with somebody, like, for example, like you could collaborate with other business and align yourself with them. But if their mission and their beliefs and the way that they do business is not aligned like with yours, and you aligning yourself with them, yours is gonna be the one to take the hit.
It's your business. That's
Right.
why you have to have that level of control, right?
Right. And so I think the person also thought that they were going to be controlling all of that.
Ah,
So I
okay.
think, or and not controlling, but managing it to their, with their style, like not having to follow anything, because they're just all over
Mm,
the place anyway. It got their hands to too much shit.
right,
Just fraudulent anyway. But yes,
right.
I but that was super important to me. But I said all that to say that he also mentioned, and I think you said, I think you let me see, I wrote it down. Wait, I think you already mentioned it though. But a strong shared mission, belief, and unity, right?
Hmm.
But if
Hmm.
you have that one person on your team that is not aligned, or I don't want
Yeah,
to say,
with your values, with
mhm,
with the overall vision and mission,
they
that person has,
gonna,
yeah, they're going to sabotage. They're going
yeah,
to it, and it's difficult to do, but that person has to go. That
just
person has to
bye.
go, right?
Yeah,
And
the best thing, but you know
it's
what?
not
I think the
personal. It's
universe
not
was
personal. Say that
eliminating
again.
people for me.
Oh, of course. It's gonna happen because
Just
you're gonna get that line of sight that where they're like, that person's not right for you. And it's gonna take a while to work out of, but that person has to have an understanding that it's not it's not personal,
mhm,
right? From a business, it's about business
mhm.
and making sure that we have the right team. And just because I like you personally
Right.
doesn't mean we're effective as a team.
Professionally, we're
Well,
gonna
and
be
so, and take you and I, for example. You and I, for example, right? I said I probably couldn't work for you, but I can do projects on the side for you because we're
mhm,
both kind of headstrong, right? And I recognize that for myself.
mhm,
I said, "Oh no, I can't work. Tiffany too dang on headstrong." And then I say something, then I get upset, and then I'm her sister, and I'm gonna just start mouthing off at the mouth, and then everything gonna explode. I was
right.
like, "No." I said, where Tiffany and I work well is when we can have forums like this for open discussion. Or if Tiffany needs me to work on a project or something, it's going to be, a small project on the side, and I can, or providing advice. I can
Because you're a
definitely
lot more
do that.
disciplined and organized, and you do things like structurally. And I don't necessarily have to have all of that to succeed at what I should
No, and I
succeed at.
know I would get on your nerves and you would get on my nerves. So I
Right.
was like,
Exactly. I'm still trying to get paperwork into my CPA that she asked for over a month ago. Honey, I can't find it. I hate paperwork, I realize too. I
mm-hmm,
don't like
I
papers
don't do
floating
paper.
all around and doing like that. I like to keep it like in a, but
Mm-hmm.
that about myself. Like I just, me and paperwork are not cool. We are not cool.
Right, right. But I will tell you, so there was one other point that I wanted to make sure that I got into your ear, and in case you missed it, within his book, he had mentioned, because I think this is very, very valuable point. He said, as a general rule, everyone you involve with your company should be involved full time. He talks
Oh,
about how sometimes you'll have to
I
break the
didn't.
rule because you have to have lawyers and accountants, for example, right? That's not necessarily aligned with your company, but you do have to have those those competencies for financial, for legal matters.
Mhm.
However, he said anyone who doesn't own stock options or draw a regular salary from your company is fundamentally misaligned. At the
That makes
margin,
sense. Because
yeah,
how can they be aligned if they not constantly involved with the daily operations and
correct,
involved in meetings?
correct,
Yeah, how
correct.
do they
So
know the expectations if they're getting a fragmented version of it part time or
part time, exactly. So you have to be mindful of that. So if you do go down that path, because I know a lot of people do, I thought to myself, I said, that's really hard because a lot of people hire contingent workforces when they are building their company, right? Who has the money? Who has the funds to afford a salary? Not a lot of people can do that.
mm-mm.
And I was like, I
Unless you're
really would.
fundraising
Yes, right. Unless you have the funds to do it.
or
But a
you
lot of
have a
people.
fundraiser. I should,
Mhm.
yeah.
But or you have some sort of agreement, where that individual is going to get some sort of equity within the company, some sort of stock ownership, some sort of ownership within the future. But the reality is that a lot of us who are in these small businesses, we leaning on cousin Juju to help us out, or Big Willie down the street to come over and take some, like we
Besides you to scan
they
in
they
all the
they
documents.
and a lot of people doing it under the table. Let's be hello.
Right.
You
She
know
ain't
what I'm
gonna get no W-2.
you know you're
We
not.
back to that. I don't like paperwork.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like they're not even going. I don't want to be filing my taxes. Like people be doing stuff like that, and so I just think to myself, I said, I really wish he could talk about, I guess, but he's at a higher level, right? Peter Thiel, he sold PayPal, right? So he ain't trying to talk to us little uh feeble bodies over here. He's talking to the big wigs, if you will. So I guess when we get to that point, something to be mindful of, that you do want to make sure that you are employing people who are fully aligned, are regular salary individuals within in your company. Um, he said, that's why hiring consultants doesn't work. Part-time employees don't work. Remote employees don't work, because that misalignment can creep in whenever colleagues aren't together full time in the same place every day.
Right,
And I
because
would have to say that's,
culture, it has
huh?
to do with the culture that
Correct,
you're trying to
correct. Well, because you can't
inherit.
create a culture with a disjointed workforce, right?
Mhm.
So that was something that was really profound. The last one he said in this particular chapter, he said, the founding moment of a company, however, it really does happen just once. Only at the very start do you have the opportunity to set the rules that will align people toward the creation of value in the future. The most valuable kind of company maintains an openness to invention that is most characteristic of beginnings. This leads to a second, less obvious understanding of the founding. It lasts as long as a company is creating new things, and it ends when creation stops. If you get the founding moment right, you can do more than create a valuable company. You can steer its distant future toward the creation of new things instead of the stewardship of inherited success. You might even extend its founding indefinitely, right? All right. So that was chapter 8, and then chapter 11. This one was around sales. I really like this. I actually watched the movie he had brought up. He said, the title I think was "If You Build It, Will They Come?" And there was a movie called The Field of Dreams. I don't know if you remember seeing that movie. It's where a guy he had this desire to build a baseball field in his community. And
Oh,
I was, do you remember it?
I think so.
You said no, you don't think so?
No, I know, I do. This
Oh,
sounds
you do. It sounds familiar. Yeah. Yeah. So, but he was sharing, he was sharing basically the world, it just doesn't work like that. The reality is that, customers are not just going to come just because you build something. You truly have to go through the process and make it happen. And he said, the reality is that within any business, even if they don't say that they are a salesman, because
Mm-hmm.
that job title I think has really morphed into other job titles, and he shared that as well. He said, but every business has salespeople. We just call them something different, right? He said people who sell advertising are called account executives. People who sell customers work in business development. Um, People who sell companies are investment bankers, and
Mm-hmm.
people who sell themselves are politicians. like
That's part of
I
true.
feel like he was trying to do a little dig there. But he
They'll
said,
sell water to a well.
yeah, so stupid. That is so true, though. Hello. Um, but yeah, so he was talking about how it's really important. If you want to have a good enterprise, you really want to develop a sound strategy, and not only just sales, but the whole distribution into sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to make sure that you are really thoughtful about how you are going to market your business. And even like your friend who has like the group home, I was thinking to myself, even in that, I know that group homes, they get referrals, right? But you want the right type of referral, right? You
Right.
don't want, like, you want to sell to social workers the type of group home that you aspire to have. So they won't send you a bunch of degenerates,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you want like a certain, and not that you can be, I don't think in that particular space you can be um selective, but if you sell your group home to a social worker with regards to what you are about, what your vision is, what your mission is,
Mm-hmm.
they will be selected for you.
Right.
You understand? And
Yeah.
so it's really interesting because I was thinking to myself about that. I was like, yeah, if we ever decide that we want a group home or something of that nature, there he's right with regards to, and even in that business where everything's referred to you, you do want to have a level of marketing so
Mm-hmm.
that you're generating the right clientele into your business that will help your business to flourish and to be sustainable.
Right. That's what I was going to say, because otherwise your business is not going to be sustainable. You
No,
can
it's going to burden you, right? Like
create
especially if
turnover,
very exactly,
turnover
exactly.
with your inventory, because like
Hmm.
if you're talking about a group home, the inventory is the kids, right? So it'll
Hmm.
be turnover with your inventory, it'll be turnover with your staff.
Right, your staff, because it'll be a difficult play. It'll probably be very difficult to work in an environment
Well,
where
because
you're giving the
nobody would
people.
be able to not know. That's a double negative. No one would be able to adjust.
Hmm.
You don't get those you don't get that opportunity to adjust when it's like
Right,
that. So
right,
that's what
yeah.
for stores like Dollar General, businesses like Dollar General, and, and
Hmm.
places that don't necessarily need that type of structure. But if you're trying to do sustainable wise, yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, and that's really what it's all about because you want a business that's going to last. And if you're not being thoughtful up front with regards to what type of vision your overall mission will be as a business, and you allow every too many external influences to dictate
Hmm.
who you are, what you're about, then you've lost your business.
You
You've
lost your
lost,
mission, your
yeah,
vision.
and it's not going to be sustain. Of course, it's not going to be sustainable because it's not yeah, it's just not going to be sustainable. So it's very, very important that you develop the right marketing strategy, and be very thoughtful with regards to how you are going to generate business and sustain that business for years to come. Right. Yeah. So yeah, so those were really the top three chapters within the second half that I was really, really interested in. I wanted to chat about, get your perspective. There were some other points within the second half of this book. Chapter 10, he talks about company culture, which we highlighted a little bit. In chapter 12, he
Right.
talked about the utilization of leveraging technology, and perhaps maybe having a hybrid approach. This made me think about AI and how we shouldn't fear it, but leverage it to be complementary to our business, and don't fear it taking away business. Just fully embrace it and leverage it, because I shared this before. I truly believe that. We are always going to find secrets, right? We are always going to find something to fix, something to resolve. And a lot of people, when they fear, oh my God, my job is going to, and then they start hoarding information and stopping progress.
Hmm.
Um, they do it, of course, out of fear. But you don't ever have to fear that, because anytime anything new is created, something will be created to fix it or to make it better, etc.
Hmm. Somebody will
And
fix it. Yeah.
yeah, there's going to be another, and that's what helps us to be progressive. That's what helps our minds to create the pattern within our mind that will allow us to continuously critically think about how to do it better, how to expound on this particular idea. But if we stop and we are stagnant and we don't allow ourselves that growth, we won't be able to begin to reframe our mind, build different and better neurons
Hmm.
to allow ourselves to think differently.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, so chapter 12, that hit home for me. I really liked that one. 13 was the questions you need to pose to yourself prior to starting a business. I kept asking myself, why did he put this at the end? I guess he wanted us to finish the book. I don't know. I was like, I want to put this as like chapter one. Let's talk about what type of business, what you need to think about in order to establish a monopolistic business. Um, and then chapter 14 was, he talked about the eccentric founders and the need for more. And you had honed in on that when you brought up Elon Musk. He had like Steve Jobs. What's the dude from Virgin um, Airlines, Branson? Um, and so he got into a whole bunch of different individuals about, how these founders just, they were really eclectic. And because of their, um, is eclecticism a word? I feel like I want to say.
Eclecticilialism.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? That is not what it is. Yeah, that came from my dictionary again. We're just creating stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like, how we really have to um, be more tolerant of these people who are, and when I say tolerant, I'm not talking about of mass murderers. Okay, we're not talking about, although he did bring up one, but I was like, oh, he said, okay. I forgot what his name was. He did bring up one and said that his what was his name?
Manson? No.
Was it Manson? Why I can't remember his name. Anyways, but so let's talk about founders, okay? Not people who is in jail, who ended up in jail. But he talked about how eccentric founders, we need more of them. And he was sharing, the lesson for business is that uh, we need to be more tolerant of founders who seem strange or extreme.
Bundy.
Say that again.
Bundy was the murderer.
Was it Bundy?
He was in the context of discussing secrets and deception. He
Hmm.
argues that people and companies often hide the truth about themselves, and that successful founders must be able to see through lies and conventional thinking to uncover valuable secrets.
Mm.
Bundy is used as an extreme case of someone who hid his true nature behind a facade of normality and charm, showing how dangerous deception can be when people don't question appearances.
Ah, yes, he was in Secrets. He was under the in chapter 8, right? Yeah, he's in chapter 8 because he was talking about him um
Chapter 8.
about yeah, it was chapter 8. Yeah. But yeah, because he was talking about, the fact of complacency, of how we are, right? And how I think that disturbed him. It disturbed him to the point where he felt that he had to go through the process of dismantling everything, dismantling in order to recreate. And they do actually talk about that when you break some. They even do that in sororities and fraternities, right? To recreate you, we have to dismantle you, your thought process, how you are, in order to begin to have you think differently or
Back to the
actually think it.
assimilation thing,
Well,
though.
that is actually a
About to be
simulation.
give
While I was saying
everybody
it,
sameness.
yeah, while I was saying it, I was like, oh, that's assimilation, though. That's not really that they were deconstructing people in order to be like them, be more of them.
Right.
His thought was to deconstruct in order for us to begin to think differently, which is why he went on that killing spree like that. And then there was another with regards to the founders. That was another nice point I liked. He said the lesson for founders is that individual prominence and adulation can never be enjoyed except on the condition that it may be exchanged for individual notoriety and demonization at any point. So be careful. And then he talked about don't overestimate your own power as an individual. Founders are important, not because they are the only ones whose work has value, but rather because a great founder can bring out the best work from everybody at his company. All right. All right. So that was Peter Thiel's book, Zero to One. I really enjoyed that book. I'm definitely going to be reading it
I
again.
know.
I
I
don't know
was
if I
gonna say
said that.
I'm gonna have to listen to it again.
Yes.
I didn't get
Yeah,
to.
you're gonna have to listen to it, read it again, absorb it. Because I was just like, yeah, I don't know. That one about secrets just really hit home for me because I think I am really, really good at thinking very different
Uh-huh.
from others and just thinking differently about how to do things.
Mhm.
But I will say that my inability to take risks, and I guess because I lean on the fact, I have kids and I don't want to. I
Because you
don't.
want to color within the lines. Just say that.
Yeah, I do.
Say
At
you
this
want to
point,
color
and
within the
I'm
lines.
coloring within the lines, and because I don't want to color outside the lines, and then I'm in trouble and they getting an ass whipping by Sister Ruth Ann too. Like I'm
Ah, hey, Sister Ruth Ann.
hey, Sister Ruth Ann, she used to tear me up, boy. But because I would not comply. I would not
Why
conform.
is this child so stupid? Then we get to this age in our life and realize how dumb all that shit was.
Man, I'm telling you, struggling and struggling, struggling to get out of it, right? To think differently. But I guess that's where they say, hey, the next generation. All right, all right. Anything else you would like to add?
I just feel like with all of this and knowing all of this, learning these different concepts that like me just evaluating and being reflective, I just feel like my creativity has been robbed from me.
Rod, or that you're
I've been cheated out of for the amount of work that I've put in. And there's probably a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that feel the same way. It's just like, why do we hit these walls? Why do we hit why are we stonewalled in growing our business? Like it seemed like this would be the path of least resistance.
mm,
Going
no.
this going well to me because like you've been there and seen and done it. Well, I have because
Hmm.
I would never just like got out of school and open my own practice as you see, some medical providers will do. They'll just get out of school and immediately open their practice. But
Right.
I feel like I took time and I thought about it and
Hmm.
I was just like, like this is what works for me. The other thing that works for me, here goes my tangential again, is the ideologies that I'm allowed to teach my patients because they are ideologies, right? But
Hmm.
I'm allowed to be on the healthier side if I want to, right? Because
Right.
my drive and my passion for healthcare is not, it
Conventional.
was not molded or, huh?
It's not conventional.
Right. It's not conventional and it's not molded or groomed by like what our government says or what because as long as I'm following the guidelines, I'm following, that
Of
you can't
course.
get in no trouble. But no, like I just feel like my creativity has been robbed from me. It's been stripped, exploited. I've been cheated out of it. And it's because of all of the stress along the way.
Hmm.
That's one other way that it's been that I feel like my creativity. So I really want to get back to oh, you know what? That just made me think of something. So maybe I still have a creative I have little creative waves still working in the background. I'm actually going to look up how to improve your creativity
Bingo.
and then
Bingo.
just study that and work on that because I'm like, where in the hell did this come from? I could
Hmm.
think of things and create things just like that. And now it's just like, I don't know, the stress of life has compounded that.
Makes you hard, makes you angry. And
Mhm.
when you're kept in a place where it's very difficult, it's hard, where you are possessing anger and resentment, yeah, of course creativity is going to be out the door because you're too busy mulling in your feelings. But if you are in an environment where it's supportive, right? When you have a supportive environment, people are cheering you on and the resources are flowing, it's much easier. Like Elon, hello, this man just be creating stuff left and right, and you just be like, how is, like he's being supported,
Mhm.
right? They're giving him resources, an ungodly amount of resources. That's kind of scary. But I'm like, they really value his creativity, what he is bringing to the table, something that is just very differentiated and unexplored. And like you said, he's neurodivergent, and the way that he thinks is there. He also is very, he loves to take risks. And I think that's because he doesn't understand, and
Um,
I'm going to tell you, it's funny. There's someone that you and I both know collectively, and I said the reason why that individual is able to take risks is because that individual is not educated. Because education, right? We are
will stop
overly
you. It'll
will
give you, yeah.
it will hinder you because now you have too much information. And not to say that education is bad, okay? Don't take, that's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm saying that that person possesses a level of ignorance that allows them to be risky.
Hmm.
They don't know
Right.
what could potentially happen,
Right.
right? They don't know.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and so I thought to myself, if, with Elon, I said, I think a component of him too is sometimes he probably don't know. He just flowing with it because it feel right. It
Hmm.
feels good.
And
He
and
feels
now he has enough money that even if
to
he
make
works,
it happen. Yeah, to try and make it happen. And if it failed, okay, oh well, I got 20 other businesses to fall back on. You understand? So, but yeah, I really believe that if you want to rebuild that creativity, number one, get good control um, of how you respond to external forces.
Stimuli, yeah.
Correct. You have to get better at being able to control that. One of the things that, I see often in this last 10, 20 years of my life has been really, really stagnant. And it took me to control how I respond to activities that occur in my life that allows me to continue to be creative. The other thing, I like what you said. I'm going to look for things to do that will allow me to be creative. For me, I love working out. And I told you when I work out,
All the
yeah,
ideas
dopamine.
flow.
Yeah, is it dopamine? Dopamine. I mean, my ideas just start to flow. And that is what works for me. I said, if I ever stop working out, I'm scared all my ideas are going to go away. So, sister girl, let me tell you, I had an incident when I was doing my 90-day challenge. I had created a program and I was doing really good. But I had a fluid imbalance. And I'm gonna tell you, I kid you not. I was like, well, I can't really walk on the treadmill anymore. I can't do the bike anymore. Girl, sister girl started walking in place because I was like, I do not want my inability to create and be thoughtful, etc., to stop. And that's when I really do get it when I'm working out. So I kept it going, and now I'm recovering, and I'm still able to find that creative juice to explore,
The
to
juice of
think
the soul.
differently.
Mm-hmm.
When my kids get grown and gone, no, I'll probably do it before then, because this book really helped me to see that there is possibility, um, that I don't have to give my ideas away. Um, I, Yeah, I think I'm going to do this more, where I'm going to take some of these ideas and start seeing how to bring them into fruition. So,
Mm-hmm. I think you should because you have great ideas and
oh, thank
insight.
you.
No, you do. Yeah, you could be powerful, but I don't think you want to. Some people don't want to recognize their own power.
Yeah, it's no, no, no. Yeah, that's not it. It's where it's not that. I always used to tell my friend, I used to be like, you don't want to see me be great. You don't want to see me be great. Um, I just think I'm at a point in my life where my health is more important to me.
Self-creation.
Yes, and I know what power can do,
Uh-huh.
and where it can take you.
Right.
And
Take you
yeah,
right to hospice.
it really could, because the stress, too much, and you just like, oh, that's too much. Oh my God, I'm about to
Call in
die.
palliative care.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it really can. And then, of course, I have children, and I really enjoy going through that process of getting to know them. I was looking at Muhammad take his first walk the other day, and I
Mhm.
was like, wow, if because when our kids were growing, did you ever see Taryn take her first walk, or was she in a daycare when she took her first walk? Did you
She
talk?
was at her party around the Miss Katrina's house with the donkey and she walked on her first birthday.
Did she? Oh, okay,
Then
okay.
she
So you
saw the
got to see
horse.
it. Okay. Oh, she saw the horse, and she that gave her enough inspiration. But I didn't see any of my kids take their first walk until Muhammad, the last baby. All of my kids were in some sort of daycare or someone else's care, and they told me, and I was like,
Oh,
you know,
who
and
want to
with
do that?
Muhammad, yeah, I know, but with Muhammad, with Muhammad, I've seen every growth, what do you call it, milestone, and beyond. And so that's another piece of why I feel like I like the space that I'm in right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, so all right. Anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us here today on Proactive is the Way. There is light within a man of light, and it lights up the world. If he does not shine, he is darkness. The Gospel of Thomas. Each of us has a path specifically designed for us. When you listen deep within and follow that which has been designed for you, you will find God. For you are Him, and He is you. Personally, I have struggled with this my whole life. I have always followed and acted on others' desires for me. And then I had a great awakening. It took a good friend to help me to realize that I must put to death that which does not serve me and align with that in which I am most passionate and inspires me. Only then will I rise above and truly find God. Join me on November 16th when I kick off our next series, The Freedom Blueprint, a path to true joy and clarity. I will provide an overview of the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, a timeless guide to breaking free from self-limiting beliefs and reclaiming your happiness. Together, we'll uncover how simple yet profound the agreements are and how you can transform how you think, love, and live. To prepare for our conversation, make sure to pick up a copy of our featured book. Details are in the description. For access to replays and to learn more about Kinky Cafe's Proactive the Way, please visit www.kinkyknotscafe.com. Stay proactive, my friends. Take good care.